Hello everyone, back to today's second video doing GavsWeatherVids Sunday Round Up for today's second video. So, as well as on Sunday, you're going to have your eclectic mix of this and that. You're going to be looking at things like sea surface temperature anomalies, solar activity, the Arctic Oscillation, the North Atlantic Oscillation, the QBO, and also the weather for next week, 10 days and beyond. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. And I'll talk you through our Sunday Roundup very, very shortly. Not going to be many more Sunday Roundups to go, actually. We're going to be resting the Sunday Roundups from the 6th of September in favour of winter updates. So we've only got 3 more Sunday Roundups to do after this one. And then, yeah, we're off into winter update season again for another year. So all getting quite interesting with that. But still 3 more Sunday Roundups to go after this one. So the first video released today was the 7th Autumn 2020 update. That video will be placed on the Autumn Updates page at GavsWeatherVids.com. Hopefully this evening, if not this evening, it'll be tomorrow morning with written summary, just going over everything that we discuss in the video. And yeah, you'll be able to have a read about and watch the video on demand at GavsWeatherVids.com whenever you would like to do that. Going to be live streaming tonight from 6 o'clock. So going to be looking at things like the 12Z, the heatwave, latest heatwave data, and also thunderstorms as well, and yes, that could be a very interesting live stream. But we will also have a look at Precipitation Anomalies of the winter of 2020-21. I wasn't sure if they would be updated for the live stream, but they updated late last night. Precipitation got them updated late last night, and so I'll be able to bring the very latest forecast winter of 2020-21 from Precipitation to you in the live stream from 6 o'clock. So it could be a very, very interesting live stream indeed, to say the least. So I think I'll be seeing most of you at 6 o'clock, I suspect, on YouTube and across GavsWeatherVids platforms. Okay, so it's Subscribe Sunday. If you aren't subbed to the channel, please can you give us a sub. Don't forget to tell your friends about us as well. Make sure you've liked the video if you've enjoyed it, and also let us know in the comments what you think as well. And don't forget to click all notifications when you subscribe also, and then you'll be notified when we are releasing content and also live streaming. You'll be notified by YouTube. Right then, so let's start off with some pictures then. So we always set aside the sort of first 5-10 minutes of Sunday Roundup for your weather picks. I've got a few to show you from Discord. We have got a GavsWeatherVids Discord server now, so if you haven't checked out the Discord server, you can find a link in the description at YouTube. So this one shared a week ago on Discord by Adam Blunsden, showing a lovely amount of cumulus there, a nice bit of blue sky down in southwestern parts of England. Big thank you to Adam for sharing that one. This one, a nice sunset picture, or a dusky sort of picture from Adrian Major, our good friend Adrian, again down towards the southwestern part of the country. Lovely picture. That one, thank you so much, Adrian, for sharing that one. Then shared by Shiram on Friday evening, showing Martian skies in Sedgley in the West Midlands. So yeah, a nice sort of Martian-looking sky there. Sunset pictures on Friday evening from Shiram in Sedgley. Thank you, Shiram, for sharing those. This one, again, another sunset picture, this time in the eastern part of the country, though, shared by Alpha Espy. Our good friend Espy shared this one on our Discord, and Espy's over in the eastern part of the country. Again, nice sunset on Friday evening. This one by Black Weather, showing the moon over Leeds on Friday night. Very big moon over Leeds there on Friday night. Nice bit of mackerel here by Dan Boyles. Dan is towards the London area, I think. Nice mackerel sky there yesterday. So thank you, Dan, for sharing that one. And these by VXLKS, showing weather in Wicklow in Ireland. So nice bit of blue sky there in Wicklow. in Ireland. So big thank you to VXLKS for sharing those. This one was emailed to me by Steve Price, showing again lovely blue sky at Faversham Pond. So thank you, Steve, for sharing that one with me. Richard shared this one on the comment box at GavsWeatherVids yesterday. Richard's in Cheshire this weekend, showing sunset in Cheshire, a nice bit of sun in Cheshire yesterday. And there's also a nice bit of sun where Neil is as well, in the West Midlands. Again, this one posted to comment box at GavsWeatherVids.com. And then I just got a couple more to show you from Twitter. I haven't done any from Twitter for a little while. So this one shared a couple of days ago by Andrew Lachlan, saying that the heat was back in Watford, with 35.8 degrees being the highest temperature of the day. So yeah, proper hot scene there down in Watford. And a nice relaxing walk along the canal, maybe a little bit cooler next to the canal in Watford perhaps. This was shared by CDJ on Friday as well. This is St Leonards-on-Sea, clear blue skies at St Leonards-on-Sea, shared by CDJ. Again, nice bit of blue sky at Glastonbury, shared by Sean Gray. So thank you, Sean, for sharing that one. Sean down in Glasgow. We always love a bit of Glasgow weather, of course, at GavsWeatherVids. And then finally, this one, again, nice bit of blue sky, shared by Chris Bell at Plymouth, again, on Friday. Maybe just a few hints of the early storm cloud development with that one, though. Who knows? Well, I don't think they had any storms at Plymouth. Big thanks to everybody for sharing their pictures. So if you'd like to have your pictures featured within videos, you can share them on the GavsWeatherVids Discord. You can post them to the comment box at GavsWeatherVids.com. You can share them with us on our Facebook and Twitter accounts, or you can email them to us at GavsWeatherVids@gmail.com. And we are always very, very happy to feature weather pictures in the videos when we can. Of course, we have been setting aside the first 5-10 minutes of Sunday Roundup for your weather picks. Sunday Roundups, as I said at the start of the video, will be stopping on the 6th of September in favour of winter updates, but I will find another video that we can use to share your pictures then, and I'll let everybody know which video we're going to be using to show you weather pictures. But a big thanks to everybody for sharing their pictures with us. Right then, so this is how things are looking on the solar disk on Outside of This today from solarham.net. Excuse me. So we have got a sunspot here. We've got quite a big sunspot region just there showing up. Nevertheless, though, solar activity is at very low levels and is expected to remain at very low levels for the next 3 days at least. This is the GavsWeatherVids Solar Activity Tracker shared by our good friend James Ackrill, or created by our good friend James Ackrill, up to yesterday. This is updated up to yesterday, the 8th of August. The trend lines are starting to move a little bit. So the orange line here is depicting each individual day's worth of sunspot activity. We are going through a slightly more active phase at the moment. We're still at a very low level of solar activity, but we are seeing a slight uptick in solar activity at the moment as we begin to progress into solar cycle number 25, and that is enough to be lifting up the trend lines, which are the thick green and thick red lines. They are starting to lift up a little bit as well, and possibly those trend lines are higher than they've been maybe for like a year. So this goes all the way back to August last year. And we did see a bit of a tick up just there, which was like the start of the year, around January. But I think the trend lines have possibly gone higher than they've been at any point through the year. Although, in terms of an individual day of sunspot activity, that is most active day just there, which was back at the beginning of May, I think, or at the end of April. But the trend lines are moving a little bit. The trend lines are moving up. Nevertheless, solar activity is at very low levels and is going to be staying at very low levels for the time being. But we are just beginning to progress now into the beginning of that solar cycle number 25, I think. Though we have had no formal announcement from NASA yet to tell us that we have started solar cycle 25, but I don't think it'll be much longer before we get it. This one's shared by our good friend Richard Trott, so this is showing spotless days and the current spotless stretch. So, well, we've got no days for the current spotless stretch, as we have had a sunspot yesterday. Oh, we have had sunspots over recent days. So, for 2020, we've had 153 days without sunspots so far, but it's 70% of the year, comparable to 2019 with 281 days without sunspots. That was 77% of the year. So very gradually, this percentage is moving downwards. So a few weeks ago, this was around 75% of the year, I think. Now it's 70% of the year. So this is telling us increasingly that 2019 was probably our solar minimum year, and 2020 probably going to be slightly more active. Still a lot of days without sunspots, of course, so still very low levels of activity. But yeah, it's increasingly starting to look as though 2019 was probably our solar minimum year for solar cycle number 24, and increasingly it's looking like 2020 will be the first year of solar cycle number 25. Big thank you to James and to Richard for sending through the solar data. Sea surface temperature anomalies are looking like this. This is updated to the 7th of August. This is how things are currently looking. We've got our 3 areas of interest. We've got the ENSO region just here, the equatorial Pacific Ocean. We've got the Northern Pacific over here, and we've got the North Atlantic over there. So dealing with the ENSO region, first of all, the signature for La Nina continues to develop. We do now have quite a La Nina signal going on there. It's still quite a weak event. It's going to be a weak, possibly to borderline moderate, but I think probably a weak La Nina. But we do see the La Nina signature there with those cold and average sea surface temperature anomalies from Peru in South America to Indonesia in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and so yes, this is like dropping week by week. So we are seeing a gradual decline into this La Nina event, albeit it is still quite a weak one. Further north in the Northern Pacific, it remains significantly warmer than average up there in the northeastern part of the Pacific Ocean, although over towards the coast of like Alaska, Canada and North America, it's possibly got a little bit less warm. It is still warmer than average. It's possibly cooled down a little bit there, but generally this northeastern part of the Pacific Ocean looks pretty warm. So we've got a warm Northern Pacific Ocean with a weak La Nina developing, which is quite an unusual combination, actually. Normally when you've got La Nina, the Pacific will tend to be a little bit colder overall. But anyway, that's how things are looking at the moment. It'll be interesting to see whether this La Nina starts to cool down the Northern Pacific. I suspect it will cool down the Northern Pacific as it continues to develop. And we shall see about that, though. Moving over to the Atlantic. So tropical Atlantic still warm and average through here, quite warm through the Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico as well. So everything in the tropics is primed and ready and set up and raring to go for a big tropical storm and hurricane season this year. Moving further north into the Northern Pacific, very warm over towards like Greenland and down towards Newfoundland. Significantly warm and average through there. Also very warm in the Norwegian Sea. In fact, the Atlantic Ocean generally looks quite warm. I think the Atlantic Ocean generally is in its warmest state for quite some time, actually. So we've got a pretty warm Atlantic, we've got a very warm Northern Pacific, and we've got a developing weak La Nina. That's how the oceans are currently looking in terms of the Pacific and the Atlantic. Let's have a look at the SOI. So this is just an index that's reflecting the atmospheric state down in the Southern Ocean. It's not driving anything in its own terms. It just tells what the atmosphere is doing. When the SOI is in its negative phase, the atmospheric setup will be reflective of an El Nino event. And when the SOI is in its positive phase, the atmospheric setup, you're going to have to get the phone. Right, phone answered and now unplugged. And don't worry everyone, the phone will be unplugged for the live stream. Definitely will be. So there won't be any interruptions with the phone for the live stream from 6 o'clock. Definitely not. Right, so where was we? SOI. Right, so this is an index that's reflecting the atmospheric state down in the Southern Ocean. It's not driving anything in its own terms, just tells what the atmosphere is doing. When the SOI is in its negative phase, the atmospheric setup will be reflective of El Nino. When the SOI is in its positive phase, the atmospheric setup will be reflective of La Nina. So the current situation is that we are moving into a positive phase of the SOI. So let's deal with the last few days of SOI numbers. So back around the 30th of July, actually the SOI did go a little bit negative then, down to minus 17.85, actually very negative. 31st of July went down to minus 16.01. But more recent days have been positive again. So the 5th of August coming in at 13.84. These are preliminary, these numbers, but they don't tend to change all that much. 6th of August coming in at 25.73, very positive SOI number there. 7th of August coming in at 22.40. 8th of August coming in at plus 8.44. And 9th of August coming in at 8.92. So the SOI increasingly moving into a positive phase, really. And this is a 30-day SOI average, this red line just here. You see that has entered a more positive phase compared to where we was back in the earlier part of July. Right, then where do we go to next? So we go here. So, yes, CFSB2 is continuing to forecast a weak La Nina, as it has been throughout the year. So, we are currently, got our temperature anomalies on the side, of course, and the date similar periods on the bottom. So, we're currently somewhere around here, just entering into that half a degree below average, all important half a degree below average threshold that gets us to a La Nina. The black dash line going down a little bit further, that's the ensemble mean, that goes down to around 1 degree below average and sticks there for the rest of the year, really, before it lifts up through the course of the early part of next year. So basically we're looking at a weak La Nina. That's been a consistent signal from the CFSV2 since January, and yeah, we are into this weak La Nina now. So I think that the autumn and also the winter of 2020-21 will be a weak La Nina winter, and of course we will be looking in our winter updates at what that could mean for the coming winter. What does it mean when you're in a weak La Nina? We'll be finding out in our winter updates, I'm quite sure. Right, just want to show this. Haven't shown this for a little while. This is this will be showing Eurasian snow cover in a few weeks' time. At the moment, it's completely snow-free, of course, except over mountainous areas across Eurasia, as we are into the Northern Hemisphere summer, well into Northern Hemisphere summer. In the next few weeks, it's going to start to fill up with snow, of course, across Siberia, and then that will push westwards through Russia, and you'll be seeing a lot more of that in the winter updates. We can see Arctic sea ice as well. That's this yellow area. Had another pretty big melt season, so it has seen quite a bit of melting in the Arctic. However, there has been a development with that over the past few days. This is from National Snow and Ice Data Centre. So it had a bit of a plummet in Arctic sea ice extent, like a couple of weeks ago, but begin to pull up a little bit now. So the blue line is this year. The blue line is like 2020. You see how it did plummet a couple of weeks ago, but now it's beginning to pull up short, and we are starting to cross over with 2012. 2012 is the death spiral, of course. It's a red dash line. That is 2012. That's the death spiral year for Arctic sea ice extent. You notice like a week or two back, we was underneath 2012. We was underneath the death spiral year, but now you can just about make this out. Now we have sort of reached crossover with 2012. We've reached crossover with the death spiral. So it looks at the moment we probably will do something a little bit like this for this melt season, and probably come up short of the death spiral year 2012. Because you never know, we might see this accelerate again. This melt season might start accelerating again, and we could do something like that, I suppose. But at the moment it looks as though we've reached crossover with 2012, and yeah, so the situation is, I mean, it's a big melt season. It's a very, very big melt season that we've got going on again this year, as we have had for so many years now. But it looks like we probably are coming up, coming up short of 2012. But we'll continue to monitor that over the next few weeks, of course. QBO is in, so the QBO number for July is in, quasi-biennial oscillation. Again, this is just an index that reflects the atmospheric state. It's not driving anything in its own terms, it just tells what the actually is doing. When the QBO is negative, then you are weakening the zona westerlies, essentially. You're in an easterly phase of the QBO. When the QBO is positive, you are strengthening the zona westerlies, and you're in a westerly phase of the QBO. This sort of cycles from west to east fairly regularly over around 12 to 15 month intervals. We should be in the middle of an easterly phase of the QBO at the moment. Let's scroll down and see what's happening. So we know that we've been struggling with this easterly QBO. So 2019 was like the last westerly QBO, particularly through the first half of the year, and then that westerly QBO weakens into the second half of 2019. Looks like we're on our way into an easterly QBO beginning in January. Our first negative number, minus 2.51. That's like the first month of the easterly QBO, and so that should be strengthening through the year then. So as we go through the rest of 2020, we should see the easterly QBO getting stronger. What actually happens is that we get a stall of this easterly QBO, so it does sort of try and power up a little bit through the first months of the year. The most negative month was actually in April, when we went down to minus 5.03, but that's as strong as the ECQBO got up to that point, and since then the ECQBO has been fading away. So what we have now is actually a very slightly positive number for July, coming in at 0.34. That just about gets us into a westerly QBO phase. Really, it's neutral, I suppose. It's neither easterly or westerly, but clearly we have seen like a dramatic stall of the easterly QBO development, and we are possibly moving into a westerly QBO. We are possibly seeing a complete failure of the easterly QBO, which is very, very, we think it's very unusual. It did happen in 2016. We had a failure of the easterly QBO. As far as we know, up to that point, it hadn't happened before. We've only been registering the QBO since the 1950s, of course, so it's possible that the QBO is not as regular with its cycles as we think it is, but the belief has always been that the QBO should be kind of like a pulse or like a heartbeat, constantly cycling between easterly and negative, between easterly and westerly phases, between positive and negative phases. We could be seeing another failure of the easterly QBO, and coming so soon after the failure that happened in 2016, it is rather worrying what's going on with the atmosphere with this. But we should wait and see a little bit longer where this goes. But definitely you can see the way this ECQBO just faded away since April, when we went down to minus 5. May weakens the ECQBO, goes to minus 4. June weakens it further, goes to minus 2. And then July coming in at 0.34. Virtually back into like a very slight westerly QBO phase. So these are worrying times, really, what's going on with the quasi-biennial oscillation. This is from NASA, so this is showing the westerly and easterly QBO phases. So we've got this blue-green area, that's the last proper easterly QBO phase back in 2017-18. This sandy browny coloured area is the last proper westerly QBO phase from 2018 to 2019. and 19. So you see that we've got this blue area. It's like the top of the atmosphere. It's like the stratosphere, and then this is the troposphere here from 30 to 50 HPA. So this blue-green area up here should have descended like that and moved down from the stratosphere into the troposphere, and that would have been an easterly QBO. What actually happens is that the easterly QBO kind of stops around there and then starts to recede. We also have it in the lower levels of the troposphere just there as well. But in between, we never quite get rid of the westerly QBO phase. We never quite get rid of these raggedy, browny, sandy coloured lines. And notice in the last month or two, we've seen those brown coloured areas sort of expanding. And that does look as though the westerly QBO is coming back, doesn't it? That really does look as though the westerly QBO is coming back now. If we zoom in, you can see that, yeah, I mean, that looks pretty definitively westerly now in the troposphere. So is the westerly QBO coming back? Have we had another failure of the easterly phase of the QBO? We shall find out in a month or two's time. We'll confirm it in a month or two's time, but at the moment that is looking like a failure to me of the easterly phase of the quasi-biennial oscillation, and coming so soon after the failure that happened in 2016. These are worrying times. These are worrying times in terms of what's going on in the atmosphere, because the atmosphere is doing things that, as far as we know, it shouldn't be doing. We shouldn't be getting failures of the QBO like this. So time will tell, and we'll find out in a month or two's time. Of course, this is very important for the winter. When we're in an easy QBO, we increase the chance of a colder winter because we weaken the zona westerlies, and we can increase the blocking signal in the northern latitudes. But when we're in a westerly QBO, we like power up the zona westerlies in the winter in particular. So if we're going to have another westerly QBO winter, this coming winter, then that probably increases the chance of winter being milder and also more zonal. But there have been cold winters with westerly QBO as well. For example, December to remember was a westerly QBO. So there's never any one particular key driver for Northern Europe and for our weather in the winter. So we shall see. We shall see where that goes. Right, let's move on. Arctic oscillation observed and forecast is looking like this. So again, just an index that's reflecting the atmospheric state. This time it's looking at the atmospheric state in the Arctic. The black line shows where we've been, with the AO, red lines at the airweather GFS ensembles forecasting the Arctic oscillation to go. At the moment we are around neutral with the Arctic oscillation. We're going to go slightly negative with the AO, so the blocking signal is going to increase a little bit over the next week or so. Remember, GFS ensembles are forecasting that sort of stay neutral to weakly negative as we go off into the second half of August. So there can be a bit of blocking around in the next week or two. That might increase the chance of the melt season picking up again, Arctic size melt season picking up again, if we do see an increase in northern blocking. The NEO observed and forecast looks like that. So again, black line shows where I've been with the NEO, red lines of the airway GFS ensembles forecasting NEO to go. At the moment we are weekly positive with the NEO, and the GFS ensembles are forecasting that the NEO is going to stay week positive into the second half of August. That tells us that the Azores high has powered up, and so that's one of the reasons probably why we are currently in a very warm spell of weather. And we may see the Azores high continue to ridge in to western parts of Europe into the second half of August. Right, let's do some forecasting. This is how the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles are looking from all weather central today for London. The red line is 30-year upper air temperature average for London. We're starting off very significantly above average. We're around 20 degrees at 850 HPA. Proper heat wave currently going on down in the southern half of the country. I'm going to stay hot through the next few days as well. Later next week, as we've been talking about in the videos a lot recently, the upper air temperatures begin to drop. We begin to cool off, staying pretty warm, but nowhere near as hot as it currently is with those upper air temperatures. And just generally, once you get to like the middle of August and beyond, just generally quite close to average then. Quite close to the long-term 30-year temperature average. Quite a few precipitation spikes coming through as well, especially in the next week to 10 days. There will be thunderstorms around with these hot temperatures. And in fact, we will have an increasing thundery signal as we go through the course of the next few days. Maybe a little bit of a drying trend appearing there as we move into a very extended range of the ensemble graph. Of course, that's in the unreliable time frame of the GFS and its ensembles, but possibly a little bit of a drying trend there. But yeah, it looks hot and thundery in the next few days. Quite an interesting combination. Temperature anomalies from the 9th to the 17th of August are going to be warmer than average, hot than average week coming up for the UK and through most parts of Europe as well. Notice central parts of Russia are quite cold though. It looks pretty chilly over there, but for Europe, very warm to hot week coming up. Precipitation anomalies from the 9th to 17th of August. Bit dry and average out to the northwest of the country, but particularly eastern and southern parts of England looking significantly wetter than average. That is all down to thunderstorms, of course. Here's today's wind flow map from earthnullschool.net. So we've got high pressure dominating across many parts of Europe. Got a ridge through here and also extending up to here as well and down to there, which is keeping all of this low pressure at bay out in the Atlantic. Jet streams going up there somewhere. We are pulling in a bit more of an easterly wind today, so it's slightly cooler and fresher. We've got slightly cooler, fresher air moving in off the North Sea today. I think tomorrow the heat and humidity starts to push back northwards again. You can see how warm the continent is currently looking if I overlay the temperature contrail. So there it is. So yeah, very hot continent, and those southerly winds are going to start to push back northwards again into the UK through the course of tomorrow. It's still hot in the southeast even today, but the heat and humidity will start to drift back northwards again, I think, tomorrow, and that's when the risk of thunderstorms will start to increase as well. Here's how the UK Met is looking for Wednesday. So on a thundery trough on Wednesday, could definitely be sparking off thunderstorms. It'll be hot and humid across many parts of the country, especially so in the south and the east. A proper thundery low there drifting up from France on Thursday. That thundery low is still sitting close to the country on Friday as well. Actually, it's taking a long while to push the cooler, fresher air in from off the Atlantic. I'm not sure the UK Met ever truly cools down down in the south. So it just goes very slack as we get through as far as we can go, which is Saturday, 15th of August. It's all gone very slack. I'm not sure there's a great deal of cooler air pushing in off the Atlantic there with the UK Met. So very warm to hot through much of the coming week, but with thunderstorms on the UK Met. The GFS is more definitive with the breakdown. So this is Tuesday. Again, thundery trough drifting up from the south. Then we get an area of low pressure developing across England by the time you get through to Wednesday to Thursday. So heavy showers, thunderstorms increasingly widespread and volatile around the middle part of the week. Then that thundery low sort of moving away to the east, we start to pull in these cooler winds from off the Atlantic. So this is definitely turning things cooler at the end of this coming week and into next weekend. Losing the thundery potential as the heat and humidity clears away to the east, and then trying to generate a bit of a ridge before low pressure starts to come back in off the Atlantic. That's how we look at day 10. Quite unsettled with low pressure moving in from off the Atlantic, bringing showers or longer spells of rain. Moving into extended range, we keep low pressure then very close to the country. Hints a bit of normal blocking getting going in the extended range with this GFS run. So a lot cooler and a lot more unsettled as we're moving into the last week of August with the GFS. GM looks like that. So again, a thundery trough on Wednesday. Developing to a thundery area of low pressure through Thursday, and then that clears away by Friday into next weekend. We're into cooler winds from off the Atlantic. Close to high pressure though. High pressure is building back in from the west, so the GM is mainly dry and settled actually as we move up towards day 10. A lot of high pressure domination really, and probably becoming quite warm again, but it does cool things down after a thundery breakdown at the end of the coming week. ECM looks like that again. Thundery trough moving up from south on Wednesday, developing into thundery flooding area of low pressure Wednesday through to Thursday. So yes, increasing risk of thunderstorms as we go through the course of the coming week. And then eventually cooler air comes in off the Atlantic, cools things down. And then as we go towards day 10, the ECM looks unsettled with low pressure never far away. As we go through the options here, you see there is quite a bit of uncertainty actually about the detail with this. So yeah, I mean, we've got the GEM trying to build high pressure back in quite quickly. We've got the GFS and the ECM looking quite unsettled between days 5 and 10. And the UK Met is very strange. It doesn't look like it ever really breaks down the heat wave really on the UK Met scenario. This is the rainfall forecast based on the ECM run from Meteo.com. So, lot of dry weather today, although some showers could spark off tonight. They might be thundering across Wales and Northern England as well. Then those showers pushing northwards to Western Scotland and Northern Ireland tomorrow. Going further on into the week, and you'll see that we have an increasing risk of showers and thunderstorms pushing up from the south. So yes, expect thunderstorms in the coming days, especially from around the middle of the week onwards. Could be some really intense rainfall and violent thunderstorms in some parts of the country. Then it starts to go cooler. We lose a thunder risk, but still quite unsettled with further showers or longer spells of rain coming and going. Temperatures cooling down, but quite unsettled as we move up towards day 10. That is day 10, 19th of August. We can't show you the options on the table within the ECM ensembles today at the moment. We're going to show those in the live stream because they haven't updated the Icelandic Met Office yet. Finally, CFSV2. So these are 500 millbar heights broken down into week periods. The first week period takes us from the 9th, 15th of August. The coming week is dominated by high pressure sitting to the east and north of the country, drawing up those hot southerly winds. Eventually, this low pressure down here might bring a thundery breakdown, or will almost certainly bring a thundery breakdown. Week 2 is the 16th to the 22nd of August. High pressure over Scandinavia, winds in from the east, on a dry and very warm or potentially quite hot weather in with that as well. So any thundery breakdown is likely to be short-lived. If that's right, then we're back into high pressure and hot weather again. This looks more definitive with the breakdown. This is week 3, 23rd, 29th of August. Low pressure then coming in off the Atlantic. The ridge is receding back in towards northern parts of Scandinavia. And so that looks much cooler and much more unsettled there in week 3. And then week 4 just places a trough of low pressure over the top of the country, combined with some northern blocking in the Norwegian Sea. Looks like we have a cool and unsettled week there in week 4. It's the 30th of August, 5th of September. September starting on quite a cool and unsettled and potentially quite wet note. Finally, this is how CFSV2 is forecasting September on the latest run. So low pressure out to the northwest, high pressure out to west-southwest, bringing westerly winds. It all looks very typical, really. It looks very typical for September. That temperature anomalies for September forecast by CFSV2 to be slightly warmer than average, and rainfall anomalies for September by the CFSV2 forecast to be very close to average. Okay, so that's another Sunday Roundup done and dusty. Sorry about the interruption with the phone. The phone is going to be kept unplugged for the live stream. I can promise you that we won't be interrupted in the live stream. But there you go, these things happen. There's always someone dialing in to GavsWeatherVids towers. Right, so that is Sunday Roundup done and dusted. We're going to be back later on with our live stream. That'll be from 6 o'clock tonight. And so we'll be talking about the heat wave, we're talking about thunderstorms. We'll be taking your question. We're looking at 12 there. We're looking at observational data, hopefully, and yeah, going to be a really fun live stream. We will also have a look at Patel Peng's Winter 2000 and 2021 analogs update. So it's just updated today, and you'll see what those analogs forecasts are looking like for Winter 2000 2021 in the live stream from 6 o'clock. So yeah, I shall see you live at 6. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.